Good day. So someone in my comments had this query, and I think it was really interesting because it's something that I had struggled with before I found this approach that I have to the markets now. And it's basically this person said, would you like to make a video about how you journal your trades? There are so many different aspects involved in fundamental trading. How do you keep this clear and organized? And I believe this is a really good question because before 2025, my trading, it was a bit organized, but I really found myself feeling overwhelmed a lot of time. And this is why I created this Discord group here, and it's a private Discord group. It's not any selling anything or anything like that. This is literally just, as the name of the group suggests, Dave's trading diary. So this is literally just my trading diary where I I clear my mind when it comes to trading. So this is how I keep everything organized as it relates to trading. So I'll go through this Discord server, what I have, and so forth, and then I'll cover something that I think is important, which is my notion, and this is how I analyze the market. So my Discord server, it has different sections. So it has market outlooks here, and as you can see, we have a daily market review, and daily market review is just every single day from Monday to Friday. At the end of the day, I write a market review. I write what happened in the markets. Let me just download this and show you to make it simpler. So this is the daily market review. So I have a headline, what was the main theme of the day, and then I analyze everything that I trade. So I look at the US 10-year yields, I look at the dollar, I look at the yen, I look at the pound, I look at the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, Nasdaq, Nikkei, gold, oil, and so forth. So at the end of every day from Monday to Thursday, I write a daily review. And for a lot of people, this will probably seem like work, but when you're a bibliophile and a writing addict like myself, this is heaven. So I actually genuinely enjoy doing this because I like writing and I like reading, plus it improves my trading. So I'm literally making money doing this. So this right here is what I do every single day from Monday to Friday to really clear my head. So at the end of every trading day, I just write, just to I can't really find the right word to describe it, but it basically just makes the market clearer. So this is my daily market review. And next we have weekly economic outlook, which is as the name suggests, it's just the outlook for the markets for the coming week. So this is the outlook that I wrote for the market this week as I'm recording this. So it's the same format again. I have a headline and then I analyze all the markets that I trade. So you have 10-year yields, the dollar, the yen, the pound, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, Nasdaq, Nikkei, oil, gold, and everything. So it's just me looking at the week ahead, looking at how I'm positioning, how I'm planning to position, making sense of the markets, doing my analysis and all that stuff. So every week I do this, and again, for me, I love doing this. I love writing, I love reading, so I like doing this, and it clears my head. It just makes everything organized. Right, next we have monthly market outlook, and this, as the name suggests, is just a monthly market outlook. So at the start of every month, I only started this last month, by the way, so this is why you only see February. So at the start of every month, I do the same thing again. I talk about what I'm looking for in the coming month for the different assets that I trade. So bonds, the dollar, the pound, and so forth. So the monthly market outlook. Next we have weekly news recap, and this is simply the most important news or things that I came across in the trading week I look at. So if you look at this, for instance, I just, whenever I'm reading, if I see something that I think is important, I just get it, paste it, and then maybe make a note or something of it. And then I read at the end of the week just to, keep my mind fresh, stay up to date with what's important and so forth. So this is the news recap. It's, as the name suggests, just a recap of the weekly news events that I think is important. Next, we have central bank forward guidance, and I only started this recently. So is forward guidance by central banks, which is really important. Forward guidance alongside interest rate decisions and balance sheets. Those are really the most important things to understand if you're a currency trader. So forward guidance, I actually use ChatGPT so RBA post like a 50-page document on their website of their previous interest rate decision. So I just got that PDF document, send it to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a summary of the key messages from the meeting and also a forward guidance. And then they basically summarized it, give me a summary of the important points and the forward guidance. So this is actually really nice. Shows out to AI. AI is here to stay. And then I take a screenshot. I like to look at their forecast because this is also very important as well. Their forecast and what they're expecting, because their forecast will determine how they're viewing the market and what you can expect with interest rates. So I always take a screenshot of their forecast and put it there for analyzing as well. Next, we have monthly macro wrap up, which is something new. I haven't added anything to this yet, but I'm planning to just post like a PDF of everything on this page of what happened in a country's economy from economic data standpoint. So all of this right here. And next we have weekly radar, which is something again that's new. It's just an outlook for the week, what I'm looking for in the news for the week, important points and so forth. So that's weekly radar. Next we have analysis, and this is just, as the name suggests, it's just some analysis, just something interesting I saw in the market. So that is this channel right here that I created recently. If you look at this is when I was bullish on the yen, and I noted this, and this was February 9th. So I have been bullish on the yen for some weeks now. Next we have monthly results. So these are just like my statements, so I can keep track of my monthly trading results and so forth, quarterly results and whatnot. This is economic outlook, so this is a broader outlook on the economy. So this is usually more long-term focus. So as you can see, this is a 6-page PDF document. This is a lot of writing, but I love doing this, and it just, well, this was my yearly outlook basically. So yeah, that's economic outlook. Next you have monthly notes. You get the point. Research, thoughts, backtests, books, videos and all that stuff. So this is how I organize my thoughts. A lot of people say they have different edges in the market. So, oh, this is my edge. I'm good at scalping. I'm good at order flow. I'm good at volume profile trading. I'm good at swing trading. My edge in the market is that I love to read and I love to write. And this right here in this Discord is my edge, and this is how I keep my thoughts organized. So I hope that answered the question that the individual asked. And the next way that I actually organize the data itself that I analyze, so that is how I organize my thoughts. Now for my data, I'll just do a quick run through here. So I trade currencies, equities, and commodities. And if you trade currencies, you have to be in tune, especially as a swing trader, with the with a country's, the currency that you're trading, the country's economic fundamentals. And this section right here covers that. So for US economic data, I like to separate this in labor market, inflation, productivity. Well, housing, I haven't really updated this much, but I mostly focus on labor market, inflation, and productivity because those are the main drivers in the markets at the moment. So I separate these in 3 different categories, and I can just look at labor market. if this is green, basically it means it's bullish for the currency. If it's red, it's bearish for the currency. So you can see that labor market is 3 greens, 2 reds. So overall that's more bullish, but yeah, it's mixed for the most part. Inflation is going up, so that's bullish for the currency. Productivity, as you can see, is very weak, so that is not good for the currency. And I have basically the same thing for other countries. So Japan, inflation, you can see, very bullish. Productivity, very strong. UK, similar story. I basically organize the data in 3 different sectors, and I can just have a quick look at it and see what's happening in an economy. And there's no software that does this the exact way that I want, so I have to do this manually, and this is a bit tedious. I need to find a way to automate this, build a software that can do exactly this without having to track it manually. So I'm definitely in the future going to work together with a programmer to build something like this where I can automate all of this stuff, because this is really tedious. This is something that I don't really like doing, but I have to do it to keep all this stuff organized and whatnot. So that's how I track economic data. Here's Canada, Australia, and whatnot. Next, I have, this is what I call the system. So this is what I use basically to create a bias for currencies. So my approach to the markets is this. There are 4 factors that move price. 4 factors and only 4 factors. So since I know this, you'd have to ask the question, why not track all of these factors that move the markets? And depending on how they are, you can use them to form a bias or an analysis. And that is what this section is. It's an analysis of the 4 factors that drive the markets. And I also have COT positioning in here, which is not a market driver, but it's important. So the 4 factors that drive the markets are economic fundamentals, narratives, emotions, and technicals. Those are the 4 factors that drive market prices. Nothing else moves price. So in here, I'm looking at all of these factors and then giving them a rating, and if the rating for everything is good, you get a bullish. If the rating for everything is weak, you get a bearish, and if it's in the middle, you get a neutral. So if we look at the dollar, we can see that economic fundamentals, as mentioned, I use these categories to judge economic fundamentals. So I use labor market, inflation. I should probably zoom in on this a bit. So I use labor market, inflation, and productivity. And you can see that in the US right now, labor market is strong, inflation is mixed. Inflation is actually rising, but I have this as neutral because investors are ignoring inflation for whatever reason. So this is neutral, and productivity is weak. And next we have narratives, and this is important. So the thing about narratives, they can switch and flip at any time. So we can see that the narratives driving price at the moment for the dollar are expectations that inflation is basically under control. And here I have potential change factors. So currently, investors looked at the previous inflation data and said, hey, inflation is under control, and we will see that in the PCE data. No, we have PCE coming out on Friday. If we get a strong PCE, this will drive the price of the dollar, right? So this narrative here that is currently making the dollar weak, it will switch to strong. Next, we have Russia-Ukraine resolution. The expectations that the Russia and Ukraine war will come to an end is driving the price of the dollar down. Same, we have easing tariff fears. We have economics. So basically, what are people talking about now? What are moving price? What is moving price? What's the sentiment? That's what narratives are, right? So you can look at this, you can form your analysis and so forth. And next we have emotions. And this, I usually categorize emotions in exhaustion, fear, and greed. Right? Those are the 3 categories I have at the moment. So at the moment, exhaustion is driving the price of the dollar. You know, people have been long the dollar since October, and they just want to find any reason to just take profits, close their positions, and move short. and this is weakening and this is weighing on the dollar at the moment. So that's emotions. Remember, you have greed and fear and whatnot. Next, you have COT positioning. This is not a price driver, but it gives you an idea into institutional positioning. So how are institutional money positioning? And we can see that real money, they're reducing longs, leverage funds, they're increasing longs, and large speculators are increasing longs. So overall, institutional money is bullish on the dollar, but I like to pay attention mostly to real money. So these are asset managers like pension funds, insurance companies, and portfolio managers and so forth. These guys are usually right about the markets, and they have been reducing longs on the dollar, so it will be interesting, and technicals at the moment, they are bearish for the dollar. So that's basically how I come with a bias, and the overall score is 1 red. So at the moment, the dollar is giving a sign of 1 red, right? So that's how I come with that score. If you look at something like the yen on the other hand, as you can see, just purely green. The yen is just, it's just everything for the yen right now that's driving price is just good. And whenever you see something like this, it does not just mean buy. But in my opinion, whenever you see everything green, you need to really keep a close eye on emotions and narratives, because these can quickly change the trajectory of price whenever everything is so bullish. And also technicals. I have realized that whenever you have a lot of good economic data and fundamentals driving price, technicals actually play a more important role. So at resistance, you will see probably profit taking, people starting to sell, and at supports, you will probably see people starting to add to positions and so forth. So whenever you have a good economic backdrop, good narratives and so forth, technicals play a more important roles than the fundamentals when everything looks great for an economy. So that's something that I have noticed, and I basically do the same for the pound, Canada, and Australian dollar. And this is how I formulate a bias in the markets. And I do the same for equities and commodities. I have actually only this morning did I actually start filling out this table. It's not completed as yet. I have a bit more to do, but overall you can see that Nasdaq is currently giving a score of 2. But if you look at what's driving price, and this is important, even though my system is saying that Nasdaq is bullish, it has a score of positive 2. If you look at what's driving price, it's narratives and emotions. The economic fundamentals is mixed. COT positioning is overall bearish, and I mean technicals will be bullish because the market is in an uptrend and momentum is driving price. But even though this is giving a score of bullish, I would not want to be bullish on the Nasdaq because of what's driving price. I don't like these factors that are driving price, so I'm not bullish on Nasdaq at the moment. And gold, similar thing. So yeah, this is basically my system and how I formulate a bias for the market. So I use this to track economic data, formulate my bias for the markets, and then I use my discard, my writing, and all that stuff to clear my thoughts and get a clearer picture of the market. So yeah, this might seem like a lot of work, especially if you don't love writing, you don't love reading, and you're not really passionate about trading, but I am. So this for me is, as I said, it's like a hobby. I enjoy doing this and it makes me money. This is how I make money in the market. This is how I'm a profitable trader. So all of this for me is worth it and I enjoy doing it. But as mentioned, I'd really like to automate all of this stuff here. I wish I could automate everything here and really just focus on writing and so forth. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. Peace and trade safe. And just before I end this video, I just wanted to give a quick update on my position because I don't think I'll be posting much for the rest of the week. So I closed my CAD JPY short. I closed it for some profits here because we're at a level of support. We opened a bit strong, so I closed for some profits. It was about a 1 to 2 risk reward, so I'll take that. If we get any pullbacks, I'll be looking for sales on CAD JPY. I also closed my oil position and I actually closed it. It was an emotional close because I mentioned that I was expecting price to head back down to this support, but I was up more than a 1-to-1 risk to reward, so I actually closed this position because I did not like the way we opened. We opened a bit too strong, so I actually closed my oil position for some profits. And the only position that I'm in at the moment is the short on gold, which I explained in my video on Saturday, the idea behind this. And as you can see, we're in a bit of drawdown at the moment, but this is more of a long-term trade. So my stop loss is 5% for my entry. So this is, what's this, 148 pips. Yeah, so it's a decent point away from my entry, and my target is back into previous all-time highs here. So that's the only trade I'm in at the moment, and I think I remain neutral on the markets until I get a bit more clarity on what's happening with price. We have CPI coming out of Australia tomorrow. I'll be looking to play I think, what was I looking at? I was looking at AUD CAD. I was looking to play this to the long side if we get good CPI out of Australia tomorrow. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in the markets right now, my open positions and so forth.